So a little over a week ago, I came to you, the people, and presented you with some different categories for year-end WWE awards and gave you some time to vote, and vote you did, and thank you for everybody that did participate. Well, the time has come for me to start revealing your choices for these different categories, these winners of these 2014 year-end WWE awards, and today we kick off with the 2014 WWE Breakout Star of the Year. And I think in this category, I got the 5 individuals right. I really do. And I knew going into this is probably going to be a 2-horse race based off of patterns, based off of many different things. I kind of anticipated that it would be between 2 people. It would be between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And that definitely reflected and played out in the voting itself. But the question is ultimately, who did you choose for the 2014 WWE Breakout Star of the Year? Well, without any further ado, I am pleased to announce that your winner is none other than, drumroll please, with 46.6% of the vote, it is Dean motherfucking Ambrose. And I have to say, on the one hand, it is very hard to argue with this because Dean Ambrose had a hell of a 2014. Now, while most people envisioned that once Dean Ambrose broke out on his own, that he would be able to do some nice things, to do some big things, become a big-time star, sometimes the hardest thing to do is to actually live up to those expectations, in particular when trying to persevere against and overcome the crap that is the WWE's vortex of creative suck. Well, Dean Ambrose was able to do just that. There is no question in my mind that for the second half of 2014, there was not a more entertaining character throughout the WWE product than Dean motherfucking Ambrose. And as a result, I think you could definitely make an argument for him being that 2014 WWE Breakout Star of the Year. Although I could have also made a very strong argument for Seth Rollins too, because when we were looking at the Shield and envisioning an eventual split, which is what we do as wrestling fans, we look at the future. We could see where Roman Reigns was going to fit one type of profile. He was going to be that guy, and you knew he would be just fine with the way WWE was going to treat him. Then you looked at Dean Ambrose and you saw similarities to maybe a CM Punk and other guys from the past, the Brian Pillmans, maybe the Terry Funks, the McFoleys, depending on your perspective. Therefore, with his ability to talk on the mic, the difference and uniqueness of his character, you were pretty comfortable with Dean Ambrose being able to break out and be his own big deal. But there were a lot of concerns about Seth Rollins and how he would measure up and how he would be able to kind of carve his own niche and kind of stamp his own foothold. And to be fair to Seth Rollins, he's done a really, really good job of doing so. He's been a very pleasant surprise. I don't think he's a main event player as of this time, but he's definitely broken out and created something for himself, and that's something he should be very proud of, and frankly, WWE should be proud of as well. So he would definitely merit strong consideration from me, and he definitely merited strong consideration from you. Like I said, this really was a 2-horse race. He got 40.6% of the vote to Ambrose's 46.6%. And I actually thought that maybe Rollins was going to win this category even over Ambrose, but Ambrose it was. With that said, though, I think there was a better choice out of that 5 for Breakout Star of the Year. Because when you look at some of the other nominees, you look at Reigns. You knew he was going to be able to do his own thing. The WWE was going to insist upon him. You knew Ambrose was going to be okay, and he was going to do his own thing. And at some point in time, you could maybe even see, based off of the position he was in, for how long he was in, who he was being associated with, Seth Rollins was going to do his own thing. Now, when it comes to Bray Wyatt, frankly, I think his 2014 really went in this direction as the year went along. So he really started off as this kind of bright supernova breakout star. And if you would have done this voting after March, he definitely would have been the runaway winner. But by the time you got to the end of the year and you paint that entire picture, not so much. To me, though, my choice for Breakout Star of the Year, and I thought more people were going to vote for him than did, was Rusev. Here's a guy that debuted on WWE programming, on the main roster at the Royal Rumble. And then you didn't hear from him a little while, and then you bring him in. Here's a Rusev that most of us were just envisioning maybe as being another type of Umaga type of character where Vince had a temporary hard-on for, but eventually would yank the rug out from under. Here's a guy basically using a gimmick that's ripped off from the 80s, kind of an Ivan Drago, Rocky IV type of shtick. You know, this nationalistic type of theme several years after the height of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. And there are so many things that would indicate that this guy was going to be a flop. And this guy was going to be an overpushed and then ultimately forgotten monster. But as the year progressed, that's not what happened. Rusev got over. And he got over in a big way. He's one of the few real, true heels that can legitimately draw heel heat in the way a heel is supposed to in the WWE. Here is a guy that has been a featured part of programming all throughout the year, to the point now where when you're envisioning what is happening at WrestleMania 31, and think about this for a second. Yeah, you're thinking about what they're going to do with Reigns, and what they're going to do with Rollins, and what they're going to do with Ambrose. But you maybe before 2014 started envisioned that they would be thinking like that as a company heading into 2015 to WrestleMania 31. I guarantee you nobody was going to sit there and say that a Rusev was going to be a guy that would have a featured WrestleMania match that you were actually trying to envision WrestleMania opponents for, and thinking of that in an important context, like we need to give this guy a major WrestleMania match. So for my money, based off of where he started at the beginning of the year, which was basically nowhere, compared to Wyatt, Rollins, Ambrose, Reigns, they already had momentum going. They already had a spot. They were already being featured strongly. Rusev, to me, is the unquestioned breakout star of 2014. Disagree with me if you want to, but a guy that started off here has been undefeated in singles matches, has beat everybody he's come up against, gets feature segments, and now has progressed to the point as a character where we are thinking of him as one of the 4 or 5 featured WrestleMania matches this upcoming year. Yeah, to me, beyond question, Rusev is the breakout star of 2014. But thanks to all of you guys that voted. I'm not going to knock you for voting for Ambrose or Rollins because, again, they were definitely worthy of consideration. I just disagree with you in this particular case. Next up on the results list, if you will be your choice for 2014 WWE Moment of the Year.